Good evening. I'm John Bailey, and this is People to Be Heard, the program where people who have something to say have their say. And tonight, you've got Susanna Sussman, Executive Director of Meals on Wheels in White Plains, New York, USA, and Board Chairman of Meals on Wheels, Paul Schwarz. And thank you for joining us on a critical time for Meals on Wheels, as it is for every service organization in the county and White Plains. And I'd like to kick it off with what traditionally, Paul, has been the service Meals on Wheels has performed. What conditions caused it to be formed in 1979?
Well, it's an idea that began, I think, during wartime in England, or maybe shortly after, and spread everywhere. You have then communities all over the United States. There wasn't one here in White Plains. It was uh, a county assembly with a county assemblywoman, uh, Carolyn Whittle at the time, who, together with a couple of other citizens of White Plains, formed Meals on Wheels of White Plains in 1979. So it's a little over 40 years that we've been, as we say, serving meals to people who are unable to shop and cook for themselves.
Mhm. And now, Ms. Sussman, how has it changed this year, the year of COVID?
Hmm.
Um, Everything has changed for us, except we're still delivering 6 days worth of lunches and dinners to residents of White Plains. That has not changed at all. What has changed is the demand for our service. We are serving more people than we ever have, and our delivery schedule has changed. So where we used to go out 6 days a week, now it's two, but we're still bringing 6 days worth of food for our residents. And each person gets a cold lunch and a hot dinner for each day that we deliver.
So how do they make out the other 5 days of the week?
Well, we're
You
providing lunch and dinner for up to six
60.
days.
Okay,
Yes.
great. That
Um,
explains it.
So,
Yeah.
well, they're still having to fend for themselves for breakfast and for the seventh day. So, I don't know that much about how everybody is handling it. I think some people have some help from friends, neighbors, but we do the lunch and dinner for those 6 days.
Right, and of course, what it means is that on Monday we're bringing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday meals, bringing a hot meal for Monday, and the two hot meals for Tuesday, Wednesday are frozen to be reheated. So they're getting six meals on the Monday delivery.
Okay, and they can handle that without too much instruction, right?
It's
Or
been
do they have
working.
to make what? They're
It's
learning.
been
Okay, very good.
It's
Uh,
it's one of the challenges that we're facing. It's not ideal, it really isn't. But we, especially for someone who has like a memory problem, it can be tricky to take a frozen meal and reheat it safely. I worry about it, but for now, the safest thing is to keep our volunteers going in only 2 days a week as opposed to six. It's just less exposure for everybody.
right, right,
and
and
how
of course,
long?
what it misses is the daily visit, and we've made up for that somewhat by the fact that some volunteers make phone calls to the clients on the other days when we're not
Oh,
visiting.
that's really great. And making the call and talking them through it if they need to be, right?
Mhm.
That's that is really very reach outy. Very good job there. And what concerns prepare the meals and where are they stored, picked up, and delivered?
So the meals are prepared in Mamaroneck at a caterer. It's called Horizon Food Service.
Mhm.
And prior to about 2005, the meals were being made in a hospital kitchen. But when United Hospital closed and St. Agnes closed, we switched over to this separate caterer which has been great. We're still able to modify meals for individual medical situations and nutritional needs. Some of our clients have diabetes, some don't have enough teeth to chew food. We're able to accommodate most needs this way. So the meals are prepared in Mamaroneck and then brought to the White Plains High School on Mondays and Thursdays. And that's where our volunteers come to pick up the food each day.
Right. A shout out to the administration of the school district, which for more than 10 years now has given us space, a curb space where our volunteers can pick up the meals, an inside space where the empty containers can be stored at the end of the day, so that the caterer makes one trip up the next day, picks up delivers the meals and picks up the empty boxes from the day before. It works.
And this has gone pretty smoothly since your renewed challenges this year?
Knock wood, we've been okay. I mean, each day feels a little scary, but we've kind of built in some safety nets for each day. We have an on-call volunteer, and then we really have been very fortunate to have been connected to the Police Benevolent Association in White Plains. So they're our on-call for the on-call. So if the on-call volunteer gets a flat tire coming to save us, we have another built-in backup. And they actually helped us last April when things were feeling incredibly scary and we didn't have enough volunteers to do the 2 days a week. The PBA stepped in and they were making all of our deliveries for a few weeks. May. It was really incredible.
Back in May.
Yes, PBA, how many? Go ahead.
Yeah, if I could tell that story. I was in the office one day, it was March, I think, when things were just starting. And there was a knock on the door, and I opened the door, and there were 2 uniformed White Plains police. And they said, "Don't worry, we're not here. We're not here as police. We're here as members of the PBA. We want to know how we can help you." I was floored. And at that point, we were still okay, delivering every day. And then 2 weeks later, things just came. As Susanna said, we had to make changes, and then a month after that, where the volunteer numbers just looked precipitously low, we called on them, and they, in their own cars, in their civilian clothes, White Plains policemen did all the deliveries for a couple of weeks.
Well, as Frank Schwarz said, the former director of public safety, you become a policeman because you want to help, and that's what the White Plains Police do.
Yeah,
they step up, and is a great story. And now, volunteers, you had told me that you are interested in more volunteers, and how does one become a volunteer, and what is required?
We're always looking for volunteers, especially now. What's different about delivering now is that we're sending our volunteers out alone or with a spouse or family member, as opposed to the way we used to do it, which was to send out volunteers in teams of 2, which makes a lot of sense because one person can wait in the car, the other person can run the food into the apartment building or the house. So now it's impossible to be socially distant in a vehicle. So we have people going out on their own. So we're really looking for people who are willing to go out by themselves. And if they have up to 2 hours, 1 day a week to contribute, it does take that long. But we have been really fortunate to have a number of new volunteers that have stepped up this year, and where our volunteers used to be mostly retirees, I'm sure you can imagine that many have chosen not to volunteer. So now we're really, really happy and fortunate to have some younger folks that have stepped up in the meantime. And things are slowly starting to come back a little bit. We have one of our volunteers emailed me, she just got vaccinated. She wants to come back starting in April. So things are starting to feel a little bit better, but I don't know if our volunteers will be going out in teams again for a while. So we're really looking for people who are willing to go alone, even as new volunteers. And the best way to reach out to us would be to call us or email. And our phone number is 946-6878.
6878 946 6878.
Yep.
Number to call, as we used to say in the 1950s on television. And now, volunteers, how many more do you think you need? As
Well,
many
right
as
now,
possible.
Yeah.
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 Right.
I mean, I don't have a number in mind, but the more the better. We do have regular volunteers who kind of have a route that's the same each week, but we always could use substitute volunteers to fill in when people, when our regular volunteers are
Yeah.
out. So.
Right. Our standard practice for all those years when we were delivering, 6 routes every day, 5 days a week, less on Saturday, but we'd have pairs of people assigned to, say, Route 2 every Tuesday or Route 4 every Friday.
Yeah, so you could get
and then a list of substitutes, because there was never a day when there wasn't someone with a doctor's appointment, with this, that, the other thing, and there were always, people filling in. So we had a good long list, but that list, as Susanna said, shrank considerably at the beginning of this pandemic.
Yeah, so hence the doubling up procedure, and you have to be able to carry 6 meals in the car, right?
Well, yeah, it's more than that actually. It's 6 per person, so
6
we
per
make
person.
it work. That's not a
Yeah.
problem. You would be shocked at how we can squeeze the food into the smallest vehicles. I mean, as long as someone has a car, we can make the food fit. But it is a lot. I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat it, but it's a lot of food, and we have the best volunteers. I can't say enough about. They've been heroes. I mean, they're really incredible.
And you never get any complaints, right? Right. I see.
No, never.
Never. No. It's really terrific. Now I understand Meals on Wheels is supported by community block grants and also contributions. How has this been increased during this year of the coronavirus plague? And
yes, absolutely. There was additional CDBG or community development block grant funds that were made available to the city of White Plains in the middle of last year. So we applied and received that. And the generosity, I mean, we really exist due to the generosity of individual donors. We do charge a low fee or a small fee for the food, but the majority of our income really does come from individual donations.
Right, and the majority of our clients don't pay that full fee. Many pay nothing or much less. But yes, the greatest source of our income is in individual private contributions, $5 to $5,000, and occasionally more.
Now, if one was to consider making a donation, what would be the most helpful? Of course, the larger the better, but if you had to commit to a number of meals for a week or a number of meals for a month, how does that work out?
Well, a week's worth of food is about $54. Covers about a week of food for a full-time client. And I would, we're appreciative of any contribution. There's really no specific dollar amount. I mean, anything that anybody's willing to contribute.
If you would like people to sponsor one person a month or 2 months or 3 months, is there a fee for that? Yeah.
Oh, you mean like kind of like adopting a client for a certain length of time?
Right, exactly.
I've never really
several clients for that matter.
I haven't really thought about it that way, but someone who makes a contribution of $50 is essentially paying for a week's worth of food for
Yeah.
someone. So it's not like a direct.
Right.
So
We haven't really appealed that, that way. A lot of organizations, I guess, do say, you can contribute this much and it'll
yes.
buy a week's worth of meals or a month's worth, or and we haven't really done that.
Well, I think persons could think long range and say, well, look, it's getting to be tax time or something, and I really want to really make the most of this because I really support this. And but anyway, that's just you are the experts because you've been doing this all these years, so I will
Yeah,
butt
we
out
can
of
get
it with my
we
suggestions. But
our one appeal, annual appeal, goes out in November, and
mhm,
most of our contributions come in between, in November and December. Um, the exception was this last year when we felt that was such a crisis in the spring that we did a mailing in the spring, and quite amazing the number of our regular donors who chipped in, and then you know contributed again in the winter
yeah.
mailing. So we've been very fortunate.
Well, again, there is that phone number 946-6878, right?
Right, and
Right.
our
That's a call.
website, which is easy. It's the initials, Meals on Wheels, White Plains, MOWWP.org, and there's a link there to donate
Yeah.
online if people want to do that.
Yeah.
And actually, I should add, you can also sign up on our website to be a volunteer. So you can, or to make a
Very good.
referral for a client. So that you can do everything on our website as well. You can donate, sign up to volunteer, and then make an inquiry about a resident who you think might need help with meals.
If I wanted to sign up for Meals on Wheels for someone who is shut in, um, how do I do that? Do they have to make an application or something?
It can all be done over the phone. So
Okay.
we're not, it's not that time consuming or too involved. And as long as someone lives in the city of White Plains, we're happy to help.
Now, how has the coronavirus gripped White Plains particularly and affected your operations? What do you see? What new types of clients are you finding as a result of COVID?
We have several that have had the virus. And we've had several that have moved in with family members because of changes in circumstances due to the virus. So we are delivering to a mother-daughter pair, where the adult daughter who's over 65 is taking care of her mother who's over 95. I don't think they were living together before the pandemic. There are
that is a tragic situation.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
incredible.
And again, that affects your volunteers because they don't know what they're walking into, but they're very brave, and I salute them. So, who are the new populations in White Plains asking for Meals on Wheels help you have not served before?
I would say that there's folks who had support systems that have kind of fallen apart a little bit. So someone whose children were able to send them food from a mail, like from Fresh Direct or other online grocery stores. In the beginning, they were unable to get the deliveries to their elderly relatives. So we were involved then when the families weren't able to bring the food to their loved ones. So that was one way that the pandemic changed things for us.
And you got many more asking for that type of help.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many volunteers have you lost to COVID? Who caught it and just couldn't do it anymore?
I would say about 60% of our volunteers stopped. I mean, we were at 6 days a week. We're struggling to get 2 right now. We have many that are not comfortable volunteering at the moment. And, or we have some that will only go out with a partner. So the change in the partner dynamic has kind of kept them on the bench longer, I would
Yes.
say. Like,
as the rate of vaccination picks up, and you know, you're going to have people coming back who feel now it's safe, you know.
Well, the vaccinations are a huge issue. Just in the last 4 or 5 days, we note that everybody is very concerned about Yonkers and Mount Vernon not getting the vaccines. So they've done something to help that. But what are the causes of the hunger growth around Westchester County? Because Feeding Westchester says they've doubled the number of persons who get meals from their food locations to 300,000. Doubled, 1/3 of the population of the county. What is causing this outburst in hunger in general? Do you have a handle on that?
They would have a better handle on it than I would. However, my hunch is that the school closings is huge, are a huge factor, because I think a lot of children depend on the schools for their meals.
Mm-hmm.
And if folks are out of work, I mean, I would assume that
can't pay for the food. You can't pay for it.
Yeah.
But that is just something to me. When I learned that it had doubled, I'm saying, what's going on here? It's Westchester County, 300,000 people. That's 1/3 of the county going on.
It's heartbreaking. The needs that our clients have too have changed so dramatically. I mean, I have, before coronavirus, I had never gotten a phone call from a client who's saying, I need toothpaste, I need toilet paper, I need my vitamins, you know, all the basic things that are kind of outside of what we do.
Yeah.
There's really no system in place.
So you not only deliver meals, you deliver sundays, right?
Well, I mean,
it might be.
You know, we're trying. We did work with the city of White Plains over the winter, or I guess it's still the winter, a few months ago, to distribute some supplies, because a lot of our clients really just can't get out and get what they need. So we did a delivery of some essentials like toilet paper, paper towels, all the, you know, the usual stuff that we all need. But you know, there really aren't enough programs right now to do all the things that need to be done for the residents. But we're working on it. You know, we're trying to meet everybody's needs as we hear from them.
Well, if anyone would like to sort of work on this problem with you, brainstorm about getting the supplies to people in addition to the meals, would you be willing to talk to them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, of course.
Yes, great. Okay, so people who would like to do something, there you have it. Something I had not thought of, because I can still go to the supermarket, but what can I say? Not many people can anymore. Right. Now, are you seeking to expand your reach out to alleviate hunger in White Plains? Are you going to try and extend your service awareness in the city?
I mean, sure, of course. I think we have been very fortunate to have just having the name Meals on Wheels, the brand is so known. You know, I think that what's interesting about what we do is we're connecting with a segment of the population that isn't in circulation, that people may not see. So you're not running into our clients at the grocery store. And I think there's always awareness that needs to be increased about the folks that we really need to make an effort to reach, especially now.
Do you get referrals? This person isn't getting their meals, they're not cooking right, and then you do pick up clients that way, right?
Yes, we'll sometimes get a referral from a neighbor. We'll get referrals from doctors, from the hospital discharge, that way. But for many people in White Plains, we're below the radar. We do little things like the fact that we slap a big magnetic sign on each car as it goes out to deliver that says Meals on Wheels of White Plains. I mean, people see that. The basket that they carry the meals in has Meals on Wheels of White Plains. Maybe they run into somebody. I've literally given an elevator speech, 30 seconds, telling people what we do. But yeah, any more awareness, very very welcome.
Is there anything you, Ms. Sussman, and Paul Schwarz, the wheels behind Meals on Wheels, all right, what do you particularly want to say to the people of White Plains, and of course the businesses out there who make their homes here? How can they help?
How can the businesses help?
How can they help? What would you like them to know?
I think they should. I think the business community probably is less aware about us than I think they should be. We've been in the community probably longer than most of the businesses in White Plains, and we'll probably be here for a while longer. The demand for our program is only going up. But I'm happy to speak to any business owner that wants to partner with us and potentially adopt a route or do whatever. I'm open to all sorts of collaboration with local businesses.
Mm-hmm. And
I mean, it really comes down to contributions and volunteers. People contributing money or contributing time and energy, and that's what keeps us going.
Absolutely. And I would like to, food supply is not a problem for you, right? Like restaurants couldn't help a little with that? Or?
No, the restaurants, because the food has to have no added salt and has to be so specifically tailored to each individual, it would be tricky to work with the restaurant. I hesitate to say there aren't food supply issues. That's really a question for the caterer. I suspect there may have been over the past years issues we may not be that aware of. But the prices of food, I worry about. That could affect us. If the price of milk escalates, that would affect us because anything could happen.
Yeah, something that hasn't been mentioned is that every meal is labeled with the client's name and diet. And they are individualized depending upon a particular medical diet, whether it's diabetic or renal, whatever it is. So that's when people call. Often people will call and say they want to contribute food, and we can't do that. Everything. It was when we learned that we can do this without a hospital. All you need is a really good dietitian to direct things in a caterer's kitchen how to do it, and that's what.
Do doctors have to approve every meal?
Well, we confirm the diet with the doctor just to make sure that if someone says, "Oh no, I don't have any dietary restrictions," and then we call the doctor and they're like, "Well, actually, it doesn't happen very often." People tend to be pretty honest. I mean, this is their health, and we do the best we can to make it the food what the people like to eat as well as what they need for their medical situation.
But we don't start service until we check with the doctor.
Very, very good. Very important point. It's just not a style of meal. Exactly. But now, anything you want to say before we go out, Paul, Susanna?
I guess to anyone listening out there who's already, and there's so many of our White Plains citizens who are on our honor roll of donors, thank you again for your support, and for any people out there listening and hearing this. If this interests you, if you can contribute time, if you can make a contribution to us in any way, we would be most grateful.
Well, Paul Schwarz and Susanna Sussman, board chair and executive director of Meals on Wheels. I will get that right for the next program. You have been heard. Thank you very much for enlightening us on the Meals on Wheels situation as we fight our way through this worst health scare of our time. John Bailey
Thanks so much.
saying,
Thanks so much, John.
Thank you.
it was my pleasure and with admiration. John Bailey saying good night for people to be heard.